Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to see all of you today at this Microsoft Teams meeting. I hope everyone is doing well. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for taking your time attending to this board meeting. Let me introduce myself before we start the meeting. I am Datuk Nurain binti Muhammad Nasrul, the chairman of this meeting. Throughout the meeting, I will be assisted by my secretary, Mrs. Lee Chuzuan. Without further delay, I would like to start the meeting now. Mrs. Lee, could you please confirm the attendance and quorum of today's meeting?
Sure, Dato' Ai. So everyone is present except Dato' Aiman bin Abdul and Dato' Mohammed bin Zaki for not being able to attend this meeting due to an unforeseen event. But Dato' Noor Shafina binti MD Rusli, an alternate director to Dr. Aiman bin Abdul, is present. However, this shouldn't be an issue because more than 2 directors are present today and hence a quorum is sufficient to start the meeting. So we shall begin the meeting now.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Since the requested quorum is present, I hereby call the meeting to order. I would like to commence the meeting by introducing the directors being with us today. Datuk Siwajoti Anak Lelaki Subramaniam as Managing Director, Datuk Puayu Jun as Independent and Executive Director, and Datuk Nur Shafina binti Mak Rusli as Alternate Director of Datuk Aiman bin Abdul. The notice of the board meetings has been sent to all directors. I hope all of you have come prepared and are aware of the agenda that will be discussed today. Mrs. Lee, could you please read the agenda for today's meeting?
Sure, Dato' Ai. Our agenda for today's meeting is the first, to review and approve the audited financial statement of the company for the financial year ended 30th March 2023. Second, to review and approve the report statement related to financial statement of the company for the financial year ended 30th March 2023. Third, to discuss the retirement and re-election of director. Next, to review and approve the fee and benefits of director for the period from 5th AGM until the next AGM. Fifth agenda, to review and approve the reappointment of KPMG as auditor for the company and to fix their remunerations. Next, to discuss the authority to issue share pursuant to Section 75 and 76 of the Company Act 2016. Next, to discuss the loan request from Dato' Phua. Next, to discuss the shareholder requisition to hold EGM on virtual mode to remove Dato' Aiman bin Abdul from his office of director of the company and appoint Dato' Lee Kai Si as the director of the company and authorize the secretary to issue the notice of EGM. Next, to approve the resolution to hold AGM on virtual mode and authorize secretary to issue the notice of AGM. Last, to review and finalize the notice of EGM and AGM.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Lee. If anyone disagrees with that, please raise your hand. It looks like there is no disagreement. Then, with the consent of the members present, I would like to declare the notice of board meeting has been taken as read. Mrs. Lee, could you please explain the meeting procedure and voting procedure to the members present?
All right, Dato' Ai. The meeting procedure will be carried out according to the agenda written in the notice of board meeting. The chairman will announce to end the discussion of any resolution and go into voting. For each agenda, directors are required to participate actively in the discussion and voting process. Every director has one word by a show of hands. The alternate director shall have the same voting right as he is appointed in his absence. A resolution is passed if all directors agree to it without dissent or if a majority of the votes on the resolution are in favor. The result of the vote for each agenda will be taken into account, record, and will be brought to our upcoming 5th AGM. And any question about the voting process? If there is no question, Dato', you may proceed with the first agenda.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Lee. I would like to call the meeting to order and proceed with the first meeting agenda, which is to review and approve the audited financial statement of the company for the financial year ended 2023. I would like to pass the floor to Datuk Siwajoti to explain the report summary on the result of the audited financial statement.
All right, Dato' Ain. Prior to this meeting, I had already emailed the audited financial statement to each of you for your review. Our auditor, KPMG, have audited the financial statements of Keqora Berhad, which consists of the statement of financial position as at 30th March 2023, statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flow for the year ended, as well as notes to the financial statements. including a summary of significant accounting policies. In their opinion, the accompanying financial statements provides a true and fair view of the financial position of the company as at 30th March 2023, and it is compliant with the Malaysian Financial Reporting Standard, MFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard, IFRS, as well as the requirement of Companies Act 2016.
Thank you, Dr. Sivajyoti. Does anyone else have any question or comments about financial statement?
May I ask if all of the information disclosed to our stakeholder is reasonable and fair? Is there any room for dispute for any financial issue that may arise from this financial year audit?
Thank you for your inquiry. The group has been working independently while maintaining the high assurance level that they have provided us. I can assure you that all auditor reports are trustworthy and accurate in my capacity as the audit committee on behalf of the independent auditor.
All right. Is there any question else to ask before we vote for this agenda?
No, I believe that the assurance provided by our auditor are of the highest quality. Therefore, I suggest we proceed with voting.
All right. If no more question, I would like to put the resolution to vote. Please raise your hand if you agree to approve the audited financial statement.
Dato' An, everyone agree to approve the audited financial statement.
All right. Since everyone agrees, I hereby declare that the resolution to review and approve the audited financial statement of the company for the financial year ended 30 March 2023 is passed. So the audited financial statement will be circulated at least 21 days before the date of our AGM, and it will be presented in the next AGM. Now, shall we move to our next agenda? Okay, since everyone agreed, now we proceed to our next agenda, which is to review and approve the report or statement related to financial statement of the company for the financial year ended 30 March 2023. I would like to invite Datuk Sivajyoti as the representative of the company's director to give opinion.
All right, Dato' Ain. In the opinion of the directors, the result of the operations of the company during the financial year were not substantially affected by any item, transactions, or event of a material and unusual nature. Moreover, as stated from our auditor, the financial statements of the company as at 30th March 2023 already complied with MFRS and IFRS.
Thank you, Dr. Sivajyoti. Could you briefly explain our company's key performance over the last 12 months?
Sure, Dato' Ain. Both our sales and net profit have increased by 10% and 5% respectively. This is primarily due to our market penetration strategy.
It's great to hear this because this means our strategy is working. However, we should always be alert to the external factors that are dynamic in nature in order to keep the strategy relevant.
I agree with you, Dato' Nur Shafina.
All right. I guess there should be no more question on the director's report, right? Okay, that's great. Since the auditor has given the opinion on the audit of financial statement, I think it should also be no question on the auditor reports, right? All right, now I would like to put the resolution to vote. Please raise your hand if you agree to approve the director report and auditor report.
Dato', everyone agree to approve this agenda.
All right, I hereby declare that the resolution to review and approve the report or statement related to financial statement of the company for the financial year ended 30 March 2023 has been passed. Hence, the director's report and auditor report will be presented in the next AGM along with audited financial statement for discussion only. Okay, now we proceed with the next agenda, which relates to the retirement and re-election of directors. Mrs. Lee, could you please explain further about this matter?
Sure, Dato' Ain, I will explain more about this. According to Section 202, Subsection 3A of the Company Act 2016, the board may at any time appoint a director in addition to the existing director, and the director so appointed shall hold office until the next AGM. Well, according to Section 205, Subsection 2 of Company Act 2016, 1/3 of the director shall retire, or if the number is not 3 or multiple of 3, then the number nearest to 1/3 shall retire from the office at the conclusion of the meeting, and the director sought to retire shall be the director who has been longest in office since the director last elections. And please note that a retiring director shall be eligible for re-election as if he is not disqualified according to Section 205, Subsection 5 of Company Act 2016. Further, according to the schedule para 23, a director so appointed to the office of managing director shall not, while holding that office, be subject to retirement by rotations or be considered in determining the rotation of retirement of director. Therefore, in our case, Dato' Sivajyoti is not subject to retirement by rotation or be taken into account in determining the rotation or retirement of director, as he is still holding the managing director office, and Dato' Aiman is not taken into account as well, because he will be subject to removal later, and Dato' Mohammed bin Zaki as well, since he is the alternate to Dato' Aiman. Therefore, only one of the 4 directors will be subject to retirement, which is the nearest of one. Hence, Dato' Ain is subject to retire as you are the longest serving person since the last elections. However, Dato' Ain, you shall be eligible for re-election as if you are not disqualified under the Company Act 2016. Dato' Ain, is that clear?
Yes, Mrs. Lee. Since I have the longest service time in board, I will voluntarily retire from the board during the AGM.
Miss Lee, as mentioned earlier, Dato' Ain can be re-elected again during the next AGM, right?
Yes, Dato' No. The retired director can be re-elected again if the retired director agree with it and the member pass the ordinary resolutions.
I see. In light of what Mrs. Lee just mentioned, I would like to ask you all if you agree to re-elect me as company director. Please raise your hand if you agree. Thank you everyone for your trust. Since everyone agree with the re-election, I declare that this agenda is resolved and we will bring this agenda to the next AGM for ordinary resolution under ordinary business. Okay, now we proceed with the next agenda, which is to review and approve the fee of directors for the period from 5th Annual General Meeting until the next AGM. Regarding this, I would like to call upon Datuk Noor as the Remuneration Committee to explain further the fees and benefit payable to the director for the upcoming year.
Sure, Dato' Ain. Last month, we had the Remuneration Committee meeting to review the remuneration of the board, and we have decided to keep the chairman's and member annual fee and benefit for the board and each board committee. This is due to the fact that director fee of a total amount of 500,000 were reviewed and increased at the previous AGM. We believe that such director fee are still considered fair and in line with market value. Do you agree?
I agree with this. I think it is too frequent for us to increase the director fees and benefit every year. Further, the current director's fee is in line with the market value. So I believe that it will not have a significant impact on the director's motivation.
True, I agree with this also. Maintaining the current director fees and benefit also helps create internal pressure on directors to continue to perform better in order to avoid compliance attitudes, which is good for the directors as well as the company.
Thank you all. If there is no doubt, then we shall vote. Those in favor of the approval of director remuneration, please raise your hand. Thank you everyone, and seeing all of you agreed with this, hereby I declare that the agenda is resolved. We will now proceed to the next agenda to review and approve the reappointment of KPMG PLT as auditor for the company and to fix their remuneration. I would like to invite Mrs. Lee to address this agenda.
Alright, Dato' Ain, KPMG was appointed as the director of our company for the past 2 years and has done a great job throughout their time as our auditor. Therefore, I would like to ask for your approval to reappoint KPMG as our auditor for the coming year, and please raise your hands up if you agree.
Great. Since all of you agreed with this, hereby I declare that KPMG will be our auditor in the next coming year. Mrs. Lee, can you continue with the fixing of the auditor fee?
Alright, Dato' Ain, for your information, the auditor fee for the past 2 years is fixed at 50,000 per year. However, KPMG mentioned that the audit fee will increase to 16,000 next year. Does everyone agree on this?
Do they mention any reason for this?
Yes, the increase in audit fees is due to an increase in the cost incurred when performing audit work and maintaining audit quality.
Thank you for the explanation. Any question regarding this matter?
No.
No.
All right, as there are no more questions, please raise your hand if you agree with this. So I conclude that we will reappoint KPMG PLT as our auditor, and the audit fees will be fixed at 60,000 per year. Now let us proceed with our next agenda regarding the authority to issue share pursuant to Section 75 and 76 of Company Act 2016 for this upcoming annual general meeting. Mrs. Lee, could you please help me to explain this to all directors?
Sure, Dato' Ai. So subject to Section 75 and 76 of Company Act 2016, the director of the company are empowered to issue and allot share upon the approval by the way of resolution by the company has been obtained. And further, such authority shall commence immediately upon the passing of this resolution and continue to be enforced until the conclusion of the next AGM of the company.
Sorry to interrupt. May I know why there is a need to approve the authority for the director to issue shares again? Didn't we pass it at the last AGM?
All right, to answer your question, I'm now referring to the Section 76, Subsection 3A of the Company Act 2016. In the case where a company is required to hold an AGM, the approval will expire at the conclusion of the AGM held next after the approval was given, or at the expiry of the period within which the next AGM is required to be held after the approval was given, whichever is the earlier. So I hope this clears your doubts.
Thank you, Ms. Lee, for your clear explanation.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee and Dr. Shafina. Does anyone else have any question?
No.
No.
All right, if there is no question, please raise your hand if you agree and approve of this. Thank you. I now declare that the agenda is resolved and we will bring this agenda to the next AGM. Now we will proceed to the next agenda, which is to discuss the loan request from Datuk Puah Yujun. Then I would like to invite Mrs. Lee and Datuk Puah Yujun to explain and address this agenda.
All right, Dato' Ai. According to Section 224, Subsection 3 of Company Act 2016, the loan to director to meet expenditure incurred or to be incurred by him for the purpose of the company or for the purpose of enabling him properly to perform his duty as an officer of the company is subject to approval of the company. Following that, the loan detail will be covered by Dato' Puah.
All right. For your information, the purpose of requesting this advance fund is to support my official trip to Beijing as scheduled to take place from 18th July to 30th July 2023. This trip holds significant importance for our company as it presents a unique opportunity for us to expand our business reach, foster valuable partnerships, and explore new markets. The trip encompasses meeting with potential clients, industry conferences, and crucial networking events. By participating in this trip, I aim to enhance our market position and contribute to the growth and success of our organization.
So, what is the estimated amount of the loan investment? Can Datuk Puah Yujun explain it?
Sure, Dato' Ai. The total loan amount requested is 19,400 ringgit Malaysia after considering the anticipated expenses of airfare, accommodation, ground transportation, meals and incidentals, registration fees for conferences and events, as well as for the miscellaneous expenses. Besides that, I am prepared to provide any necessary documentation or further information to facilitate the approval process.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Lee, for your...
Thank you, Datuk Puah Yujun. Does anyone else have any question?
No.
No.
All right, if there is no question, please raise your hand if you agree and approve of this loan request from Datuk Puah. Thank you. I now declare that the agenda is resolved and we will bring this agenda to the next AGM. All right, now we continue with the next agenda, which is to discuss the shareholder request to remove Datuk Aiman bin Abdul from his office as director of the company and appoint Datuk Lee Casey as a director of the company. Mrs. Lee, could you please explain on the special notice for requisition that we have received?
Sure, Dato' Ai. On 23rd May 2023, we received a special notice from Hamzah Maslan and Mohammed Hazam Badru, which collectively own at least 10% of all voting right to hold an EGM to remove Dato Aiman bin Abdul from his office of director of the company and appoint Dato Lee Kai-si as the director of the company.
I wonder if the members mentioned the reason for this request in the special notice.
No, Dato Ain, but we will bring this agenda to the EGM for the resolution of members.
Alright, then I would like to invite Datuk Nur Syafina binti Mak Rusli, alternate to Datuk Aiman, to make oral representation regarding this matter on behalf of Datuk Aiman.
Alright, Dato' Ain, now I will faithfully convey the Dato' Aiman words to all of you. According to Dato' Aiman, he always exercises all his power for a proper purpose and in good faith in the best interest of the company. Further, he always acts with care, skill, and diligence that will be expected of a director with the same or similar responsibility. Therefore, he believes that there must be a misunderstanding behind it. That's all from Dato' Aiman.
Thank you, Datuk Pina. In my opinion, Datuk Aiman has been very committed as a director because he never missed any board meetings and has always done an excellent job as a director of our company.
I agree with you, Dato. Dato Aiman has always been a participative and contributing member of the company since he joined the company as a director. Therefore, I see no reason to remove him from the office.
I agree with you too. Perhaps the members have misunderstood Dato Aiman and we need to figure it out on the upcoming EGM.
True. Mrs. Lee, can you tell us the background of the Datuk Lee Kai-si who the members hope to replace Datuk Aiman?
So Dato Ain, in short, Dato Lee Kai-si has many years of experience as an independent non-executive director, which is relevant to our company. Furthermore, her experience as a member of the Risk Management Committee for the past few years is expected to help the board to manage the business risk better. So as a result, I can conclude that she is a good candidate for our company directorship.
It's true that our company currently lacks a risk committee. Therefore, Dato Lee's appointment will enable our board to monitor business risk more effectively, which is essential for the success of the company.
Yes, I agree with this. However, we will need to go through some procedures and to decide whether Dato Aiman should remain in the position or replaced by Dato Lee in the upcoming EGM.
Alright, if there are no more questions, then we shall vote. Please raise your hand to approve the resolution to hold the AGM on 25th June 2023 at 9 a.m. virtually to remove Dato Aiman bin Abdul from his office of director of the company and appoint Dato Lee Kai-si as a director of the company. Alright, so Mrs. Lee, you can prepare the notice of EGM after the end of this board meeting.
So Dato Ain, I will prepare the notice of EGM as soon as possible and send it to all of you and our shareholder after this.
Alright, so our virtual EGM will be held on 25th June 2023 at 9 a.m. to discuss such agenda again with our members. Thus, I hereby declare that agenda is resolved. Now, let's proceed with our next agenda, which is to approve the resolution to hold AGM virtually and to authorize Secretary to issue the notice of AGM. I suggest having our next AGM on 15 July 2023 at 9 a.m. virtually. Is everyone okay with it? Mrs. Lee, could you please help me to check whether on that day do we have any important company event?
So Dato Ain, give me a moment. So during the day, we don't have any significant company event.
Great. How about the others? Will you all be available during the day?
Yes, I will be available on that day.
Me too.
Me too.
Alright, Mrs. Lee, can you prepare the notice of both AGM after the end of this board meeting?
Yes, Dato I will also send the notice of AGM to all of you and our members after this.
Alright, so our virtual AGM will be held on 15 July 2023 at 9 a.m. respectively through Keqora website. Thus, I hereby declare that the agenda is resolved. Now, we will be moving into our final agenda, which is to review and finalize the notice of EGM and AGM. For that, I would like to invite Mrs. Lee to brief more regarding this matter.
Alright, Dato I will start with the notice of EGM first. So as agreed, the EGM will be held on 9 June 2023 at 9 a.m. virtually, and I would like to finalize the agenda that will be in the notice of EGM. So for the upcoming EGM, we will only go through 2 ordinary business, which are to remove Dato' Aiman bin Abdul from his office as director of the company and appoint Dato' Likasi as a director of the company, and as requested by the shareholder representing shareholding of more than 10% of the payout capital of the company, carrying the right of voting meeting of member of the company, excluding any payout capital held as treasury share. And are there any points or agenda that I have missed?
No.
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 Oh, all right, then I will move to the notice of AGM. So as agreed, the AGM will be held on July 2023 at 9 a.m. virtually, and I will also continue to finalize the agenda that will be in the notice of AGM. So first, we will go through the ordinary business. So I would like to lay the auditor financial statement for the year ended 30th March 2023, together with the report of director and auditor, as well as report related to financial statement are laid in accordance with section 340, subsection 1A of the Company Act 2016 for discussion only. So next, according to Company Act 2016, Dato' Nurul Ain binti Muhammad Nasrun is to be retired in the upcoming AGM. Since Dato' has held the office for the longest time, however, Dato' Ain is to be re-elected as the director in the next AGM. So coming up is the approval of payment of annual director fee and benefit to the director. Then we have the reappointment of KPMG as our company auditor for the following years, and the remuneration is fixed at RM 60,000. So are there any other agenda to be included in the ordinary business?
No.
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 All right, then that is all for our ordinary business. Now we shall move to the special business. So we need to approve the we need the approval or authority for director to issue share pursuant to section 75 and 76 of the Company Act 2016, as well as for the loan request of a total amount of 90,400 by Dato' Phua for the purpose of the business. So are there any point or agenda that I have missed?
No, Mrs. Lee. I therefore declare this agenda to be resolved. We are on time. It's amazing that we cover everything on our agenda without having to extend our meeting. Mrs. Lee, can you summarize our discussion today to conclude the meeting?
All right, Dato' Ain, we have total of 10 agenda for today's board meeting. I will briefly conclude for each agenda. First agenda, the auditor financial statement for the year ended 30th March 2023 have been reviewed and approved by the director. Second agenda, the report or statement related to the financial statement for the year ended 30th March have been approved by the director. Third agenda, all board members agree on the retirement of director in the next AGM, in which Dato' Nurul Ain binti Muhammad Nasrun will be retired by rotation, and Dato' Ain will be re-elected again to become director during the next AGM. For agenda, the director fee and benefit for the upcoming year have been reviewed and approved to a total amount of 500,000. Fifth agenda, the reappointment of KPMG as the director for the company and to fix their remuneration to RM 60,000 has been approved. Sixth agenda, the authority of director to issue share pursuant to section 75 and 76 of the Company Act 2016 have been approved. Seventh agenda, the loan request from Dato' Phua for a total amount of 19,400 for the purpose of the company have been approved. Next agenda, to hold an virtual EGM to remove Dato' Aiman bin Abdul from his office of director for the company and appoint Dato' Likasi as the director of the company and authorize the secretary to issue the notice of EGM has been approved. Next, the resolution to hold AGM has been reviewed and approved, as well as to provide authorization to secretary to issue the notice of AGM. So last, the notice of EGM and AGM has been reviewed and approved. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. If there are no other questions or matters that need to be discussed, I would like to look for a motion to adjourn.
I propose the meeting to be adjourned.
I second the meeting to be adjourned.
I would like to declare that the meeting is adjourned now. Thank you all for joining today. You may leave the meeting room now. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.